Hey, thanks for stopping by. Please, if you have not already, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you. When I started to put this together, I had a hard time trying to figure out where to begin because there is so much that is going wrong in America with black people. Like most people, I could write it off on black people don't know how to act, and it's nobody's fault but ours. But that's the simple way out. So I decided to start at the beginning. I will skip over the 400 years of slavery, systematic racism, but through all that, we took pride in being mothers and fathers and building good homes for our children. Our marriage rates were high. We had mothers and fathers in our home. Women wanted to be good mothers and housewives, and men wanted to be good husbands. Our communities were not plagued with drugs, crime, and murder. There was honor, duty, and respect for each other. Somewhere around the so-called civil rights movement, the 1960s, this all began to change. So-called women's liberation, integration, and welfare. The three biggest horrors ever inflicted on the black community, except slavery. Let me explain. Let's take each of them one at a time. Number 1. Women's so-called liberations that had nothing to do with black women. That was white women trying to get equality from their white men. Black women just got caught up in it, not understanding it was just a trap to tear apart the black family. Let's take a look at the results of women's liberation. On the black family, 70% of black women are single, no husband in the home. 70% of black children are born out of wedlock. Millions of black babies have been killed through abortions. Our young men are fatherless and are in gangs. Our young women are whoring themselves on the streets and on these platforms. Young ladies are wasting the best years of their life chasing careers and money and fun, and then complaining there are no good men after they trash themselves and are middle-aged. They replaced a woman's virtue with money, sex, and fun. Let's look at integration. Only thing that has done is take the best of the best out of our communities and move them to white communities, leaving our communities ghettos with no doctors, lawyers, dentists, commerce. All have left, leaving crime, drugs, and violence. Next, welfare took the men out of the home and left these women to fend for themselves on almost nothing. Today our black communities are dependent on it. Money per child, food stamps, don't have to work. Now there's a bunch of lazy people who are content. Now if you put all that together, what do you have? Black women don't respect black men. Black men don't respect black women. And when internet came along, it just exploded. Almost all these channels with black people are ripping each other. And what's really a shame is, these content producers have found out you can make a lot of money exploiting this division and creating division between black men and women. We have lost a sense of honor and duty and respect for one another. This one black man said it the best, Justin Stinnett. Black men versus black women. No progress can be made attacking each other, but together we are unstoppable. Remember that song by Alicia Keys, Unbreakable. That was a beautifully written song that captured the greatness that can be achieved by black couples. It seems as if we aren't promoting these types of relationships anymore. To be honest with you, it's our fault. These days we spend more time attacking each other than we do uplifting one another. This needs to change. The death of Kevin Samuels sent black Twitter on fire. On one side you had what seemed like a cheering section of folks calling the man misogynistic and many other things. Then you had another group of people defending Samuels and the message he was spreading across his many social media platforms. The biggest takeaway for me was sadness. Not just the sadness that a black man has gone too soon, but the sadness that our community was attacking each other once again. Now let me be the first to admit that there have been times in the past when I have taken to social media to defend the behavior of a black man against black women that didn't deserve to be defended. Sometimes we all get caught up in the make-believe world of social media and forget who we are and what's important. So what is important? I believe that it's important for us in the black community to be willing to have difficult conversations and engage in good faith arguments to solve some of the problems that exist between us. I promise you right now that if you log on to Twitter or another social media site of its nature and type in black men or black women, the threads that you find will mostly be attacks brought on by our own, against our own. If we use that same energy to praise one another and work on bringing black men and women closer together, it would greatly benefit all of us. I for one am going to start focusing on ways to start conversations and bring about real change in the black community. There are real problems that we need to address, and it seems like most of us are only interested in causing more division. Many of the problems that exist in our community started decades ago, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't do all we can to fix them. We are unstoppable. A motivated black man and a black woman are unstoppable. Throughout history, we have shown that together we can accomplish great things. We have to remember this. Despite what many might have you think, there are a great number of black men and women who are living great, successful lives together. Those are the examples we need to look at. Over the past few decades, the black marriage rate has fallen. According to blackdemographics.com, as of 2019, only 30% of African Americans were married compared to 48% of all Americans. There are many reasons why this number has declined over the years, but we all can agree that it would benefit our community if this number were to increase. The divorce rate is extremely high in the black community, and we must learn to stay together and work out those differences as long as the relationship isn't toxic. Every black couple doesn't need to aspire to be like Barack and Michelle Obama. We just need to love each other, grow together, and be good examples for our friends, family, and community. Where do we start? One thing we can do is stop pointing fingers at one another and recognize that the systems in place in this country were created against us. Instead of attacking each other on social media, we can use the platforms to grow together. We also must take responsibility for our past mistakes. We all need to do better. Black men and women, our ancestors and future generations deserve better than to have us holding grudges against one another. Let's end this right now. Black women are the foundation of the black community. Their strength is what keeps our families together, despite whatever obstacles they have to go through. In this male-dominated society, black men have a very important role in the community. We need our black men to be leaders and teach our young ones lessons that they won't get anywhere else. We have seen our family dynamics change over the past several decades, but it isn't anything that can't be reversed. Understanding each other's role and the importance that we play in the community is a great place to start. Conclusion. There will be many of you who might be thinking as long as you are handling your own business, nothing else matters. I would respectfully disagree. While we do operate as individuals and not as a group of black people, it's important to represent our community positively. We also need to set better examples for the younger generation of black Americans who undoubtedly will have to face issues we wouldn't imagine. Focus on your circles while also being an advocate for black people across the country. One thing I always appreciated about growing up black was the closeness we had with one another. We used to pride ourselves on teaching, praising, and celebrating with each other. It seems like we are losing this part of our culture. Regardless of how you feel about Kevin Samuels or the message he was spreading, you have to admit one thing. He knew how to start conversations within our community that otherwise wouldn't be had. We need to have some of these conversations because it is the only way to bring change. One thing that I know is true is that we are all we got. Nobody is going to do anything for us. We're on our own. Politicians are taking our votes for granted and we aren't even on their radar when creating new bills or policies. The best thing we have going for us in the black community is our voice and willingness to fight for what we believe in. Let's work together and never lose sight of the fact that together, black men and black women are unstoppable. I hope you liked it. Together is the only way forward. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Reno in the Cave. I'm out.